For our closing concert, we're going to feature one of Bach's most exuberant, joyful works, Cantata 191, which is a Latin setting, Gloria in excelsis Deo. And this is the precursor to Bach's greatest work of all time, the B minor Mass, which came later in his life. So this became the inspiration for that movement in the B minor Mass. It is for trumpets and timpani and oboes, and anytime something is in D major, Bach has a statement to make. He says, this is a happy piece, and he writes his happy pieces in D major with trumpets and timpani. So this is a classic example of that, and it is in 3 movements. The first movement is the big choral orchestral setting of the text, Glory to God in the highest. And then before the second and the third movement, Bach specifies post orationem, which means after the sermon. So he wrote this piece, the first movement to be performed before the sermon, and the second and third movements to be performed after the sermon. So we've tried to figure out what to do about the sermon. Clearly, we're not going to have a sermon, but why not have a sermon in music? So our solution to the sermon question was to invite Desiree Roustrat, who's one of our regular violinists, brilliant performer, to offer the D minor partita for unaccompanied violin as our sermon. And so this will be a rather shocking, in a good way to deal with a piece that's in 2 halves. So in between the 2 halves of this very elaborate, joyful, festive music will be this very austere and well-known setting, the D minor partita for violin, which ends, the final movement is the famous chaconne in D minor, which is a virtuosic piece movement for the violin. So then we will, after the chaconne has concluded, we will carry on with the second and the third movements of this beautiful, dazzling, happy cantata.